The AI revolution isn't coming, it's here. And no, you don't need a PhD in computer science. But if you can't speak the language of AI, even at the basic level, you are going to be left behind. Not by robots, but by people who know how to work with AI. Welcome to AI Club Pro, where we make AI concepts feel like everyday ideas. So, what is AI literacy? Let's keep it simple. It's not about coding a neural network or reading research papers. Being AI literate means you understand enough to use AI confidently, to be able to evaluate what it produces and know when not to trust it. Think of it like driving a car. You don't need to be a mechanical engineer, but you should know when to hit the brakes. So, in case of AI, it's like, you should know what kind of questions to ask. Like, where did this AI get its data from? Is it biased? Can you rely on the answers that it's producing? Um, if I want to do something important, then can I use the output and things like that? And yes, bias is a real thing. Did you know that in 2018, Amazon scraped an AI recruiting tool because it learned to favor male candidates? Not because someone told it to be sexist, but because it was trained on 10 years of resumes, most from men. And that's why AI literacy matters. So let's talk about why it matters today in 2025. So, what is happening is AI isn't just in research labs anymore. It's in your inbox, your calendar, your search results, even in your Netflix search. Every industry is changing because of AI. For example, lawyers are using AI to draft contracts. Teachers are using it to plan lessons. Doctors are using it to analyze scans and make decisions. And here's the fun fact about AI. The very first chatbot, way before ChatGPT, was called Elisa. It was built in 1966. It pretended to be a therapist by simply repeating parts of your sentence back to you, and people still found it really convincing. Imagine showing those folks today's AI. They will probably think we have built magic. So let's start with breaking down a few core terms so that you can sound like you know what you're talking about in your next meeting. So let's start with model. A model is the brain of the AI. You give it data and it gives you predictions or answers. When a model is brand new, it's like a newborn. It has zero knowledge. But as you feed it data over time, it learns patterns. And this phase is called training. Now you may ask, okay, so how long does it take to train? That depends on how complicated your model is and how much data you want the model to be trained on. The fun fact is, a model doesn't just look at the data one time, it looks at it many, 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 many times to adjust itself and to learn the patterns that are in the data. So it's not a one time thing, and it can take anywhere from a few minutes to many, many weeks. It really depends on what kind of task you're training your model for. So, another really important term in the AI world is inference. So, once trained, an AI can start making predictions. And this is called inference. This is where the companies make money. So, for example, every time ChatGPT answers you, it's running inference on an already trained model. Another super important aspect in the AI world is the data. AI is only as good as its data. If you give it garbage, then it's a garbage in, garbage out situation. So, ImageNet is this really big data set which contains a lot of visual data. Did you know that the popular ImageNet dataset that kicked off the modern AI boom in vision tasks contained over 14 million images? Vision tasks are ones that contain visual data like images or videos, etc. And guess what? Cat photos were one of the largest categories in that data set. So that's an example of data more than a decade ago. In today's world, that's considered small. ChatGPT, for example, trains on terabytes and terabytes of data, almost the entire internet. So, what does this tell you about AI? Here's the simplest way to think about AI: it's a pattern recognition engine, whether it's predicting weather, spotting a tumor in an X ray, or recommending you a song. It's just finding patterns in data and then guessing what comes next. For example, let's say you have 10,000 emails that are labeled as spam or not spam. Then an AI learns what spam emails look like. Are there any common words? Are there any kind of URLs? What's the commonality between them? So when a new email comes in, it uses what it knows from past experience as being spam and predicts whether this email is spam or a healthy one. So here's another cool bit of trivia. The term machine learning was coined in 1959 by Arthur Samuel. So that's over 60 years ago. He was teaching a computer to play checkers, and it eventually got better than him. So, coming back to how you can become AI literate, the first step is to learn the lingo. Things like model, dataset, training, inference, things that we already talked about in this video. These words will come up a lot. The next step is to understand the limitations. AI is not magic, it makes mistakes, especially when the data is flawed. And then please experiment. Use tools like ChatGPT, Midjourney, or Google's Gemini and try them for real tasks, not just for fun. And always stay skeptical. Always ask, how do you know that this output is right? And here's something that may not be as obvious about training AI. When the first self driving cars were tested, one of the biggest challenges was not navigating roads. It was recognizing something as simple as a plastic bag that's blowing across the street. AI can be incredibly smart in some ways, but yet hilariously bad in others. That's why human judgment still matters. So the truth is, AI literacy is quickly becoming as important as computer literacy was in the 90s. Back then, people who didn't learn how to use an email or the internet found themselves at a disadvantage. Now, the same is happening with AI. You don't have to be a tech genius, you just need to know enough to use these tools wisely. Because in the near future, the most valuable professionals aren't the ones who are competing with AI, but the ones who know how to collaborate with AI. So start small, stay curious, and remember, AI is just another tool. The real magic, that's still you. So that's a wrap. Thanks for joining us on AI Club Pro. Hit that subscribe button for more eye-opening AI stories and insights. Stay curious and keep exploring.